Hello friends. I really thought that I had the script for this video either online or in my book, but I couldn't find it, so I've just been thinking about it for like a really long time, I guess. It has been many years since I thought of this video, so I guess I just thought about it a lot and I didn't actually write it down. And now I'm really upset because I feel like it's gonna be an imperfect video and I can't get it right, so I've been avoiding doing it, but here I am. I'm gonna do it. It's an exposure for me. So today we're going to be talking about a question that I get very often on my different videos, and that is, can I do ERP, exposure and response prevention, for this specific obsession? Now, ERP is the gold standard treatment for OCD, as I covered in last week's video, and it's very hard. It's real therapy. I mention it a lot in my videos because it is truly the thing that changed my life, and it's something that I think needs to have more awareness brought to it, because a lot of OCD sufferers, including myself at a time, just did not know anything about it, did not know there was therapy for OCD. It's kind of a sad place to be in. My throat's like really dry. So in the comments of my videos, a question that I am often asked is, can I do this for this compulsion, or for that compulsion, or for this obsession? Like, can I do this for pedophilia OCD? What if I have harm OCD? What if I have false memory OCD? Can I do exposure therapy for that? And that is the question that I'm going to be answering today. So the thing about OCD themes is that they don't exist. The thing about themes is that all OCD is OCD. All OCD acts the same way. It's obsessions plus compulsions, and the specific themes are just fitting in those slots. So in that sense, the themes or flavors or types of OCD don't really exist. They're arbitrary names that we put on these different sorts of obsessions that people commonly have in order to help us teach about OCD and in order to help us find people who have similar obsessions to the ones that we have. But every single theme of OCD works in the exact same way, and for that reason, it does not matter what theme you have. You can do exposure therapy for it. And another thing about OCD themes is that OCD can be about anything. We tend to think about the top 5 like OCD obsessions that are commonly written about and only think about those, but the thing is that OCD can really be about literally anything. It can be about something that's very personal to you or a very, very niche topic. Just because it's not on a list somewhere doesn't mean that it's not OCD. And that is something that you should really get into your head, because I know that even I have thought, what if I don't really have OCD? Just because one person didn't list it in their list of obsessions, just because it's not a common obsession, doesn't mean that it's not OCD. For a lot of people, I think that's a really big hump that they have to get over when they're first diagnosed. At least it was for me. And honestly, I have a very good example of this. With my sexual obsessions, even though I can call them sexual obsessions, don't really have a name for them. Because a lot of different sexual obsessions have specific names for their different subcategories, like pedophilia OCD, homosexual OCD, straight OCD, that kind of thing. Even like incest. These are things that people have obsessions about. I had obsessions specifically about my psychiatrist, and they really only focused on this one person. There isn't a name for that kind of sexual obsession. So my OCD was very off the list. People didn't list this under taboo obsessions, under Puro obsessions, whatever. But I knew it was OCD because it had obsessions and compulsions, and it was just classic OCD. I had intrusive thoughts that, what if I'm attracted to my psychiatrist? Because that honestly would just hit to my very core and really upset me if I was attracted to him. And yes, I know that it is very illogical to be that upset about being attracted to my therapist or my psychiatrist, but I was upset by it, and it was something that OCD really dug in there, really had me obsessing about for multiple years. It was about 6 years. Like, I still kind of have these obsessions, but they're a lot easier to manage. And I know that other people have had thoughts about their therapists and psychiatrists too now, and I'm very happy to hear, I mean, I'm not happy to hear that you have obsessions at all, but I am happy to hear that I'm not alone, and I know that there's a lot of us out there. That being said, I'm sure that there's a lot of OCD themes that I've never even thought of. Could be anything. You could be afraid of windows. You could have a compulsion of standing in the middle of the road on the yellow line and doing the Macarena. Like, and it's still OCD. All of this is OCD, okay? And exposure and response prevention therapy is the gold standard treatment for OCD. So yes, you can do exposure therapy for it, yes. And honestly, something that you'll eventually realize is that the theme really doesn't matter. The theme is just like wallpaper on your obsessions. It's all OCD, and this is just what the OCD happens to look like right now. And you'll also notice that OCD often changes. You might have more than one OCD theme. You might have multiple throughout your lifetime or all at once. That's how OCD works. All of that is completely normal and honestly expected. At the core of OCD, you have obsessions, you have compulsions, and you have enough distress to create disorder in your life. The obsessions and compulsions themselves can be anything, they just have to fill in those spots. Now here's something to consider. Not all OCD therapists know how to treat uncommon types of obsessions. You'll find probably that different OCD therapists will tell you what they specialize in. Some love to work with people who have religious OCD, some moral scrupulosity, other sexual obsessions, pure O OCD, which is a misnomer, but things like that, or the classic contamination OCD, perfectionism OCD, those sort of things, and they'll tell you what they prefer. But some people aren't prepared to work with someone who has pure O OCD, but they are prepared to work with someone who has physical compulsions, and they still know how to treat OCD. They're just less knowledgeable about that. They don't feel comfortable treating that, and I commend them, honestly. And then there's some therapists who will tell you that OCD is only if you wash your hands, and if you don't wash your hands then you don't have OCD, or something to that effect. Those people don't know what OCD is, and you should be seeing a different therapist. Even if your therapist isn't equipped to help you with something that's not contamination, they should still hopefully know that OCD can have mental compulsions. And a lot of people, even if you have physical compulsions, a lot of people also have mental compulsions, even though they're harder to spot. All therapists should be upfront about what they specialize in, and you should know that some therapists think they specialize in OCD when they really don't know how to treat OCD. Because exposure and response prevention therapy is not as well known as it really should be, honestly. So you have to look for therapists who are qualified and who know what they're doing, who know how OCD works, and are going to be able to give you that holistic care and good care that you deserve. But if someone says this is an OCD because it doesn't match X, Y, and Z criteria that they heard in their one master's class, and or literally just because they heard all of the stereotypes, that's not a good OCD therapist. That's not an OCD therapist at all, and you should get out of there, go see another one. So to answer your question, yes, you can do ERP for this. And that can often come along with another question, which is this OCD? Sometimes people will ask me, I'm having obsessions about this thing, and it's on a video where I already explained this kind of OCD or whatever it was. I explained OCD, and they say, I'm having this obsession, this compulsion. Is this OCD? And probably yes. I can't diagnose anyone, but the thing is that a lot of times a question like this serves as reassurance. So when people ask, can I do ERP for this? I get a little amused because I think I just explained that yes, ERP is a treatment for OCD. If you have OCD, then it follows that you would do ERP for it. But I think a lot of people don't want to do ERP. And so a lot of people want to look for different reasons why they can't do ERP. So I'm a little bit yes, you can. I'm sorry for the bad news, but yes, you can do ERP for this. But I know for a lot of people this is very good news, and a lot of you guys are just starting out, learning about OCD, and so I don't mean to mock any of that. It is a good question, and I'm glad you guys are asking questions and looking into helping yourself. But yeah, ERP is tough. It is a real therapy. I shouldn't say real therapy, but it's evidence-based. It involves exposing to your fears, and honestly, it's made me a stronger person, and it's made many people stronger and been able to live a life without OCD bothering them as much, and it's wonderful. It is tough work, and I understand if you are apprehensive about starting it. I was, and if you are swimming around looking for things to do instead of ERP, I would suggest, all power to you, but I am concerned, and I hope that you find some evidence-based therapy that can help you. Now, ERP isn't the only therapy. It's the one that I talk about a lot. It's the one that's most established, but it's not the only therapy to help OCD. Some people are helped by just CBT, although it's really not as effective. Another therapy that's been very effective is ACT therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, so you can look into that. That might be more helpful for you. I know that everyone is different, so everyone receives therapy differently and reacts to it differently. Now, ERP has a very high success rate, and I would say probably almost everyone with OCD can be treated by this, and that's been backed up by numerous studies. But if you are not responding to treatment, then there are other options. There's even surgical options. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it and I answered your questions. Be sure to leave a like if you like this kind of video and share it with your friends, and subscribe if you want to hear more about mental illness and recovery, because I'll be talking more about it, and I'll be talking more about exposure and response prevention in particular in the near future. If any of the terms that I used today were new with you, be sure to check out my last week's video, because last week's video goes over all of the terms that you will ever need when talking about OCD and treatment for OCD. So I hope that you guys have a good day and you're doing well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye! That was really high-pitched, like really soprano. Before you ask, yes, I did cut my own bangs. Yes, I am a real quarantiner now.